Fano Enya Abo Ewo the studios of Off TV are able to tie for Johnson and Krakro Kesiemu. We ayan sama ya boabwa no ewo oman Ghana mu ani de edi adentwetwe ewo amanfonum ekroso aya keka bubom se off enwumre kasebo enamsomfo na akwasiamfo de Ghana inaje na tum maba betena ha besane ensemu edi amawo na kasebo yi ubenya yen ewo Facebook Off TV sanso ena YouTube nso Off TV uko Google Play Store nso wa ehon so Off TV. Download the app no na emra wo phone ni so sene ebe ya bebi abeko biada no ubetimi ahwe yen na yenhwe nsem no ni eba bedi mu akotren no ebi Dr. Mark Nawane akasa dia fa ayalehwefo a wona bra adwuma no ho se wo hwe na se wabra twe ho free adwuma no eho Professor Ajiman Bedu Akosa enso ebo aban kokko se investigation na waye no eni kwan se wotumi ejemu Yebe Piemunsu, our Deputy Attorney General, Justice Ramsay, Ekasa, Yankani Attorney General, Gofredani, Okasa Edudu. Afi Yediani Betchemu, our Kajetian so, Edward 40 Miadan, one a buffodi, Edia for Kajetia marketer, and Abano Asadisika for Ababe Tujanon. Yediani Ebetchemunsu, our Ghana inflation, a Timmy Akos 3.4%, our Epu Busumino Emu. Afi chama wontumi enso galam sen samono yetimi ayi ade akwakọ se May 14th 2026 ye bobo eremunso our British High Commission omo fresen semtrofo yenye adwuma pa na afi fake news no yenye emfamfiri wo afi se de ani betremu enso ewo South Africa ne ekoso ewo ho na de adi bewie no eye Nigeria fonso omo nso atumi akasa afa South Africa ensensem ho afi mami na mi hutao na me nkomra na me ba epo na amabo no metumi asane mu edi ama Afi nyabre na echibre na ensam ni mu ntwemu no memfa emowa ni edikan na yedane yani ede akwakopie mu Dr. Mark Nawane ono na parliamentary head committee no otimi eye chairman wakase se wo ye oyalhwani biada na se wabre ana se wuni anigye se wudi beye adwuma ede ahwe amanfo yade a ene jai wosi ebinum eye adwuma no nkokwasa asemeye asamenye nanam so na wona eba beja yarehwe ehuna mane wose ebrei Ghana fo bi ebu afupa afa hospital huduo mu ensama ekoso eno ehom ni nyane so wo be kono doctors fo bi suban eni sibi ebesibi ahyew no bed syndrome home na akofo wo hawo eni amane kase ade aba ebinu nsum ekasa sa yarehwe ku adwuma no aso mu ni enidie ewomu eno na doctor efrese se wo ye doctor ananesi ni na wo huna mani ewa adwumanim na wo hwe na se woni nje hu a ene gya na se adwuma no kyerɛkyerɛ adwuma kɔ ne kɔpɛyɛ anase kuaye adwuma kɔ na ɛkɔ na ɛkɔpɛyɛ woni nje hu a fatofom na yentie ensema Dr. Mark Nawane etumi aka.
We are saying that it is beyond just the facility, it is the individuals. And please, if you are a medical professional and you are tired of the work, probably you have to, you can resign. I'm telling you, Ghana will survive. You have, if you are ready to work, please, there are ethics. If you can't do something, you call your colleague doctor, your senior doctor. And one funny thing about doctors is that, the senior doctors, is that they are always happy to be called. Once a junior doctor calls a senior doctor, they are ready to run and come and help. It's something that in my 33 years of practice, I realized that whenever you want help from a doctor you call, a colleague doctor calls that person, you run and come and help. This should not have happened. This has nothing to do with no bed syndrome, but that was the name that was given to it. And that was probably the investigation or the referral that was given to the committee. And it has happened at Kaswa. where somebody who has been admitted, he has spent 36 hours there and they are saying no bed. Has he been lying on the floor all that time?
Wo ana Professor Ajman Bedu Akosa enso aka se aban eni kwa se ya investigative report ya wadi aba efa a doctors fo bi ni maboni a o ma yenam so akwakofa obi wodi aba no eni kwa se aban no etimi eja report no edit wo on si wehu bi da Ghana beboka eyi committee atenasi abetwati ababenum nsu ahodo no atena wo investigation e the report na babonten nanso ewie no bibie ni ho a esie eno na wotro mu se investigation aba ya corruption amani hunu ni aban adwuma ye ho yentumi amfanye bibi no eno na enam so ama ene Ghana etimi atosini enti osreban se investigation ahodo omotimi aye edi afa won na ehwe ayade adwuma ho awantumi amma won enkwa enso ban ehuye enam so ama owu akwakoba no wan hwe se wodi accountability nkwada ebema Ghana for na Ghana etimi akonanim na yentie ensema Professor Ajman Bedu Akosa etimi ekai.
We believe that this was not the first time an event like this has happened. Committee reports were done and the reports collected dust, and we want to ensure that this report does not collect dust but is acted upon.
It was for us a very sad reflection. You are a professional, you take a Hippocratic oath, you say I, and you mention Ajman Bedu Akosa, and you swear to do that. That is not the establishment, that is not the hospital, that is not the facility. It is you, as a qualified practitioner, registered by the Medical and Dental Council. And therefore, you breached your care, your duty of care.
Passport case no emu wose Godfred mi ebegina na watumi adane court ene lawyers no onam kasamfo ina hodo onom so ene press conferences ahodo ofri TV we na wokọ ha ofri kasamfamu we na wokọ ha eno na Dr. Srem say evidence for ba illegal practice obeye charges no nanso asam no emfiri imrani mu a enya abra obetimi dia manyasam ade aba besem eno na woka say ye wagidie ewa Ghana yasem ni bia ni mu ene tumi se omobema embra ene accountability etimi aye adwuma na sa aban no epese justice ene evidence ejina enye sa wo benante ene wona ma na wo kasa NDC aye say ene o ma seda tese politics ene wode enya tinka wode gira sansem no so ni senti no o ka kire nkane atoni General Godfred so on kana nuntum na afi onhwe so na emra no entimi no endi na yentie ensema Deputy Attorney General Justice Srem say etumi ekai.
The former Attorney General, well, he's now a practicing private practitioner, so he's earning his fees, and I will not be the one to take money out of the pocket of the lawyer. But I think he shouldn't be too dramatic about this. I spoke with him in the court on Hanan in particular, and he made some requests, some of which have been granted, others may be granted in the future, and others have been refused. When Hanan was sent to Bioko, he was supposed to just be interrogated immediately, then he will be discharged. But he fell sick and was taken to the hospital. And when he came back, instead of his lawyers, the former Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, to come so that interrogation will be done, he chose to rather be granting interview in his office and in the media and calling into radio programs to say things that he knows are wrong. and are not true. I mean, he said their time, they used to assign cases to you cannot just come to court when you have fresh evidence in a criminal trial and start throwing in the evidence.
That's what I'm asking about the status.
So you need to first interrogate and hear from the accused person in respect of those new fresh evidence that you gathered. That will inform your final decision whether to go ahead and charge the person or not. But to say that fresh evidence is not available merely because you don't have it is completely improper and unethical.
But one thing that he also said is that you are abusing the president because during his time, the way and manner accused persons were being treated is not the same way.
Those of you who were in court, when we were withdrawing the charges, he was on our side. He even told the judge that he is familiar,
Midimani ekwakopiemu ewa Asante Mantamani ekwakopiemu ewa Kumasi Kejetia eho ene dwadifuo etimi adano no bufu edie edifa Kejetia phase 2 project no wabra enduda ye mpanifo begina simpie so ne bema so edibeto Ghana fo nyina anim se eboa ye twa editu Kejetia market no so no etimi ehri ko eye ilo million no 305 na tese ehri ediko nanim pa na ne nyina no aye ensem bia abandada no etumi adane na die adeto ho a enam so ma contractors ni bebre na etumi ahwe o madwuma mu jade to ho ne tase omdo mo nkrata asem esade ba na aban foforo etumi sade sika foforo edikosem ene na adwadifo no ekasem se basa na tese project no achadodo adwadifo se ama business ayaden afi amadwade no enkoye omunya ba bi kura modu omonan etena edi esua ade ana etumi ade atom ade na etumi aboa efrise wona na ewo central market wono ene etu omu nyina di free wo enti ebi mu wokwa ho ebi mu ko race course ebi mu ba Kejeti adada nim ni santi no omosra aban sa di biada ye delay no aban no hwe no ntimi nyin free wo no ntimi wie Kejeti market infama wonom sane ebe ye betumi aboa na aban nka se ye kase Kumasi ye tonton enti Kumasi ye tonton no untumi emfa industry sa woduo ma mesisi wo na wonhwe se Kumasi betumi akọ nanim na emom nam se yen tonton ye nintinom enam Kejeti market no so ene betumi ama Ghana etimi akọ nanim ne senti no omosra aban sa aban enya no ho se ono ena oye na enya ono ankasa dia na wontumi enye emfa ma wo no yentie se no sibika wonsem no etumi editre.
My initial comment will be it's a very sad day for we traders and very sad day for those of us who encourage our mothers, our sisters, our uncles to leave the central market so that we will allow for construction so that within the next 4 years we will get back. It's a very sad moment for us, some of us. It has been headache for us because we have been the very people who spoke to our mothers, our sisters, our traders, our fellow traders. Oh, let's move. That was way back 2019. And someone said deja vu, here we are today. I heard a minister saying it now costs about 305 million euros. The fact of the matter is that the government is now going to source for. And see, the fact of the matter is that on daily basis, anytime the government decides not to let the contractor return to site, there's a cost build up. So if yesterday the cost build up was up to 305 million euros, let's say within a week there'll be an additional cost. Within a month there's an additional cost. Apart from that side, don't forget that our mothers, our fellow traders, a lot of people are also suffering in the house. When you go to race course, what are we doing to them? If you look at the CBD as we speak, very choked. When you speak, also, it's got a central market. When are we going to say, okay, enough is enough? We pull the handbrakes. Let's get to work. For me, I was expecting that by the time that press conference was done, the money was ready. You were telling the contractor, move back to site and go and do the job. Because the fact that once they are coming back to site, they'll calculate an additional cost to the project. And let's not forget, day in, day out, there is increase in interest rate and stuff, exchange rate and stuff. So all of them will be added to the project cost. So now let's ask this question as well. If initially the project was about $250 million or euros, now minus what has been done already, we need additional 305 million euros. If you finish the project costing 500 million euros, who is going to pay for that? At the end of the day, it's we the traders. You the authority sitting in your office, you do not care how you even get the money to pay for it. Because as I speak to you, in KATI here, the premium, we have paid for it. We are going to pay for the extra. We are going to pay until the loan has been taken care of. So what it means that instead of you quickening the pace for me to pay for about, let's say, 250 million euros as a trader, spread over time, I'm now going to pay for over 500 million euros, close to that amount. You sit in your office, I don't come for any dime from even your salary. You will finish and you'll be on the neck of you traders that you should pay for that amount. Authorities, politicians across board, I'm not talking to one political party, across board. You are taking we traders for granted for far too long. You think you can just decide on our behalf without even thinking about the repercussions that will come onto our businesses. Yours is, oh, we need this, we have to pay, we want to take, you have to pay. But the things that you have to put in place for you to be able, for us to be able to mitigate our losses.
Me tabri Ghana for media free asante mantamuni ababe PMO our Ghana Statistical Service. And akasa inflation etime akosro akọ 3.4%. Ewo April busumi yimu afimpimienu edionu ensia yimu. Osi ye twese niema boa eda so ekosrala. Na economy no emu animdifo ese. Inflation no ka transport. Eduane eye fie a ye han afifa wo bo. Ni abusua sitina nyina ho eno no omusie sidi nu anya hode kakra de nanso Ghana fopi eda so alaka sese asetena ni mu ayaden na nipa pi nso ekase akatua ne nuema bo no enko eno ti Ghana fopi kase economy no ayeye wo krata so nanso enkrofo da so hunama ne yebotomu de enkoye bosomi beso obeja akatua wunya ja akatua na wacha on the sesi na akatua no na asam na wato ba ko pe ukodwoma eniama boda so kwa na ekosoro ni sentino won krata mu de Ghana ayeye nemom eba honama mu de a oman Ghana eniama enkoye na yenti ensama DSS4 etimi editu eja
data na trade yehwe April 2026 inflation cost soar by 3.4%. Ono no asechede yefa nzama nkrofo toto wo Ghana ha na se yehwe one bo in April 2026 na ye dem nzama no bon ye de compare ne bo in last year, that's April 2025 ye hu da nzama no bon wo soar by 3.4%. Now, them 3.4%, we be there. Now, last year, no, yeah, that's April 2025. No, yeah, April 2025, now inflation, no, yeah, 21.2%. And here, between April 2025 and April 2026, inflation will perform by 17.8 percentage points. Now, secondly, yes, short term, yes, March, just last month, last 2 months, March, now April, almost on Zamabo or called then. Now, if you data no, on between March, now April, and Zamabo cost so by 1%. And yes, inflation in Ghana for April 2026 and still or low in terms of annual, that is the full year. But between just March and April, we are kakra by 1%. Okoso demonstrate or there ubia many bado no there inflation or look month by month. Na mbobia ana mfutu bia yebetu ye ho na yede.
Wo ensamia GSS 40 me ade abato abonten efa Ghana eniema yeton ya sitinemu eda ye han enkania ebo ye masuku fees numu a yetua ahodo nom nam so ama epubusumi etimi every course ro kakra no eno no mudi aba betu da se ebusua pi eda so hunamane wo mo se sidi no eya hode de inflation so ate de na ye nkyerɛ sɛ economy no ayeye efiri sɛ wo haw ne amane no ɛda so ɛwɔ hodada na aban wei ɛba ya no sika watimi apagya ɛde ahyɛ economy ni ma ɛnam so ma nneɛma abafom no ɛsɛ wo kodwoma kanu botom etumi ɛyɛ pɛ ɛne ewuyi tanga na sidi anka bɛnya nyado a ubenya intosi mako amane afi banche anya uba betimi ufufuo wawia enkwan bi ayemoko nkwan na nka watimi apoto hwe eguso watimi atitibie de na hoato nanso na menu ka say ukuta 15 cedis anopa entokoko enu ntire ni amabuo tumi akosoro paye enu na wosisi ohwe a transport school fees rent electricity ni aduane bo eda so ayeden sene ete no saa na ete enti aban ne ka ete sa wakrata so de na yebotom de ye hunu amane ye ntie ensem omosan so kan ye ede kan
che ye de yes an hwehwe mu ni nyina ne se de ye bisa ya hu se so emfaso de a ye nya so oman a ye macroeconomics no nipa temamufo no ehun mfaso de ne ne wahin mfaso be na temamufo no enya wo ho en na ye se ye ne Ghana fo be twetwe nkomo na ye bisa won ensemfua bebre a efa won yiyedie mu ensane ye ka ne well being na ye bisa sa nsem nyina no ye keka si ani na wo keka oman Ghana nyina se ye yiyedie se oman a ejina aduonum wotwe ene echide po kakra 58% na interpretation e de masa number no ne se oman no ase abofra osua nantie ampa watumi atutu ne nan a na mumu ne nan entintimu ye enti yentumi mfa yensa nsi ye mbo nka se yenyiye die no afedie atoyiye ade ba ko a ekire se yenyiye die etesen a obiara oye Ghana ni efa no ho eye ne efa ne cost of living index koli eno kire se nia wohia ede adidi to aduane wonsaka aduane ese wudi o ese obia tuminya aduane beye emprensa dakro so eye no kwasem se obia tumi enya sa ne ma etesa enyina mahoden a yede bobra a ese otumi tuaka ye friend light no so otumi eto enyina mahoden de bobra sane ese woye anampo se sika ese wo de bo abusua kohoma no otumi ye enti yakeka sansem nyina si ani a yenya ne efa ne cost of living index na out of 5 domains na ye measure ye no cost of living index no na ewo fam kra na ejina 44% na ekese ankrenkren ne enipa hora ewo oman yimu household no they are really under pressure. They are not able to afford and meet basic needs, and that is a challenge. Bibia ese ye nyina kan ya adwen bom na ye hwe kwan betumi afa so na yetumi ede nipa ho high won kakra.
The NTR report here important say yetumi free sa high level kasa no inflation.
Ghana fo akwakopiemu ewo koko krom ni nyina no eye suku ahodo ewo koko krom ena mpanifo ewo ho etimi etiemu de fra abansa abanko wamo a no mfa kyerefo pi entumi emfa mra wonom yesi wudu koko krom na wo hwe suku adan esiwa akyerefo miensa pe teacher ni baako o kyere RME o kyere owo teacher ni kroya e kyere English o kyere mathematics what science na we are what social studies enye classroom baako o be tere class 1 class 2 class 3 baako tere class 4 class 5 class 6 na baako tere JHS 1 na dey say eno no mo sisa eno no mo si anam so ma de tere ho ayede pa na eno be collect note teacher ni wo ba ni book eso no se na etie nie e be makoma be tete efri say ono ena e ba be tere nkura yi na ade enam so many papi etim kuran enkola ni mpo ani ngi school ho enya zuku ye bi to ba kone nkola yi omo kwoti koko na ebi konkusi kire ebi konkotobo enu na enam so ama mo fra banse abama ko womwa na afi eye teachers a omo enya no ho no abanu ntimi mfamre wonom se ne be ye betumi aboa ama kurom ho school no etumi akoso na atumi etimi ahweso de so entam ama foforo nom etimi anyamu do etimi edi akobi na yentie nsema right to play Ghana efo etumi ade ba bonten omutumi ekan.
Advocacy point for this forum is one, to help post teachers to most of our 50 schools that have high teacher attrition. There is great teacher deficit. A school where there are supposed to be 9 teachers, the head teacher plus 8 other teachers have as low as 2 teachers, and it's very appalling. It's affecting the delivery of teaching, quality teaching and learning. And so we are advocating that the stakeholders who are here today will help post more teachers to these schools. We all know that if teachers are engaged in multi-grading, one teacher is handling class 1, class 2, class 3, for example, it affects the quality of teaching because the curriculum for each of the classes are different. And the ability, even in one class, there are different abilities. Okay, so now putting more than one class together, a teacher himself will be too stressed, overloaded, and confused. And so we don't expect anything good from there. The second point is allocating of adequate resources to our social workers, especially the Department of Social Welfare. For instance, Adansi South is one of our districts. There are 400 communities. Esunafo North is one of our districts, 425 communities. They have 9 staff and 5 staff in this district working. 1 motorbike for Esunafo North, 3 motorbikes for Adansi South, to 400 communities where we expect them to follow up on cases that come up from each of these communities. So we can see the deficit here as well. So we are lobbying to the national stakeholders that budgetary allocation should be made for adequate resources for these social workers to be able to follow up.
Mi boromu ewan semfu from na ye kwako piemu ewa World Press Freedom Day etimi ekoso ewan krankro kesiemu eno na aban kasa mafo minister Felix Ofosu Kwache etumi di ensem ebetu ja ade efa yensem trofo yenuma yedie eho se wo yensem troni na se wotena se na wo kasa hwe wo kasa mu ye se ne be betumi aboa ye kasa twitwire a wo be kasa die tie obi ena be me adwotum se wo yensem troni fansem gu akwamu se na kwahia mofa afi ka ensem a ehu hia abema nkoso se ohene na atena se e off TV morning show so na order nsem epuoye atoye tifini anafo wono woni party A na woni party B onkoja demude bia so mfiri obi ho na mo ye nsem troni na wafu na wodi nam na just wodi e de bebe bia obeje na wanwan obeje na watafro obetena ho na foto to papa so a enya bre ebetumi aboa Ofosu Kwache akase abanu koswada akro ewo press freedom ne so se ne be ya eniema ebetumi ayeye nti atrota kirema no ye emfemfro na ye nti ensema Felix Ofosu Kwache etumi ekan.
It runs on a public that is informed enough to agree, to disagree, and to hold power to account. This year's global theme, Shaping a Future at Peace, Promoting Press Freedom for Human Rights, Development and Security, could not be more urgent for Ghana, for Africa, and for the world. I would, however, speak about the localized theme, which is journalism, information integrity, democratic resilience in Ghana and the region. Let me state this plainly. A government that fears questions has already lost its confidence. And a society that silences journalists has already weakened its democracy. Journalism is not the enemy of governments. Good journalism is actually an ally of good governance. When a reporter investigates a contract gone wrong, they are not attacking the state. They are protecting the taxpayer. When a radio host gives a platform to an opposition voice, they are not undermining stability. They are in fact strengthening it. In Ghana, we have seen this truth play out repeatedly. From the exposures that led to procurement reforms, to the community radio stations that gave voice to farmers during the dry season, to the fact checkers who counted falsehoods during our last election, the press has been a guardian of our public interests. Today, on behalf of the government of Ghana, I reaffirm our commitment to protect the safety of journalists, to uphold media pluralism.
Jumadienu Asi and a British High Commissioner Christian Rhodes and so etimi abokoko efa misinformation any fake news wa edo so e social media no eso no wɔsi ɛnɛ atoro ɛtrɛ ntɛmpa ɛwɔ abɛɛfo ntenta fidie ni so na etumi de basabasayɛ etumi ɛde ba ɔman mu wɔ hɔ deɛ ɛnya no kware no na yɛde aba abɛto hɔ saa aba na yɛsɛ nso bɛkɔm na ɛnte saa yɛsɛ ɔhene wei ayɛ sei yɛsɛ maame wei wafa ha na n'akwasi amofa wɔyɛ nso bɛkɔm no na nsɛm a aba bɛtɔ hɔ no na ɛnte saa nso na etumi adi ɛtenene ɛwɔ internet ne so ɛma kwabrane etumi ehu ɛno na watumi adi ato edwa sɛ democracy kabi mamin kabi ɛbɛtumi atena hɔ a ɛnyɛ sɛ journalism yɛpɛ no kware na yɛtumi ka no kura etumi ade kyerɛ ɛnyɛ sɛ nyanya tumi na yɛfrɛ me na kwasi amofa social ma baba bɛtra social media ne so internet TikTok Facebook na Twitter na me gyina hɔ na maka nsɛm na me de agu mu nyanko ɛho fin ɛno no ɛyɛ basabasa ɛnsa ɛmfata ɛno no ɔsɛ yɛahwɛ ne yɛ a kabi ma minka bi no ɛbɛtumi ahwere yɛn wɔabrɛ ɛde hu ɛne wɔ haw ɛbɛtumi de abrɛ amanfo ebinom na yɛntie nsɛm a British High Commissioner Christian Roth ɛtumi ɛde tuja
are not immune from some of the challenges that we're seeing and some of the changes in the media landscape. And what that means is that our societies are increasingly susceptible to misinformation and to disinformation. And I think you just have to look at the recent history where a very difficult period that all of our countries have gone through, namely COVID, has seen just how much false information was spreading. Some of it because people were worried and anxious, but some of it also was quite deliberate in terms of scaring people, in terms of blaming people. And now, with the benefit of a few years having come out of that period, we actually realized just how much of that information was wrong and was spread without good foundations at the time. But what this shows is that digital technologies have not just transformed how information is produced and how it is shared, but alongside that opportunity that has come with digital technologies, we're also seeing the downside of that trend, the misinformation and disinformation that I've mentioned. But also we're seeing growing pressure and threats towards journalists, and we're seeing an erosion of public trusts as a result. And we're seeing that what could be isolated incidents ultimately amount to trends that can weaken democratic processes, that can lead to the shrinkage of civic space, and that can breed tensions and that can breed even violence if they're not addressed. Now, I said that this is something we're facing globally, and I gave the example of COVID, but when you just look at it.
Mi boromu ewa nsamfu from na me de Ghana for eni ekwakope mu ewa Amnesty International ena ebo koko. Omo na omo fra se wo ye adwumaden ewa human rights ehom. Wo se wo hye akokwa ekoso nyeyimu ena afi oman economic hardship ne nipa ho kwan a ode ye na etumi ayakase ewo ewiase mu. And you see, on my no and Coswani here. Nanso, say justice, any nipa, any munyam sua, and ya bro manu ebetimi akwaye, and to Okasasa abiding here. Now want to mean the word to ma. Now I feel on my fair, papa ye, and to me any munyam, ewe any pemusan ebetimi abua. I'm on my Ghana, yet to me a fire to my pefra. Now obiajina, what to me about Ghana ding, and you can say to me at the anima egu form. Ade fa kwabrane fa ahudie so ye tieti obi fa ahunie ne obi epam na kwabrane etimi ato asɛ so wabra ɔno ene wo abɛmu da bi eni kwase ekosa na momosraban no sɛ wonye dwumaden ɛwɔ human rights no ɛho sɛ ne bɛyɛ enkofa yiyimu ɔhaw ene amane bia emfa emma.
The 2025 State of the World Human Rights Report today, we realize that human rights situation in the world is deteriorating. If you come to Ghana, though we have made some progress, yet there are still challenges. Prominent among the challenges is the attack on journalists. We realize that in recent times there has been serious attack on journalists and the attempt to gag freedom of expression, we realize that a number of media personnel and people, when they speak, they are gagged. Police arrest them, and some of the conditions that the courts give and the remand conditions given, we think that it's not the best. We are also saying that the anti-witchcraft accusation bill should be put before Parliament and passed. We realize that it was passed, but the president previously did not assent to it. Current president assured us that he will look into it and make sure that the bill is passed. But as of now, nothing is being done.
Thank you very much. This is a very detailed report for 2025, which has outlined the trends, the challenges, progress so far. It concerns everybody, and as we all know, human rights is a guaranteed right. Everybody deserves it, and that is what, as parliamentarians, we are going to push for. Currently, we have a few issues, thorny issues, which we need to address, particularly the anti-witchcraft bill. There is also the LGBTI bill and other serious ones. What we intend to do is to go back to Parliament and ensure that these rights of individuals, of professionals, are safeguarded in our various laws. That is exactly what we're going to do.
Mi boremu ewa nsamfu fromani ekwakopiemu ewa Kolebu lab workers na nyina no eyen sampa etumi aba ewa Kolebu teaching hospital emu na medical laboratory workers no asan aba won adwuma mu biem na enu mu nanam so ama union akase Dr. Charles Ofer Palmer wode na aba no enu no ebetumi abo amasumdue etumi aba kakra na afi eye won na ehuna mane our lab service no hono omatimi enya emfaso nsu ebiemu na yenhwe said enema SCB ekoye.
So behind me is our newly acting head of department, Dr. Charles Ofer Palmer. He's a pharmacist by training, and he has been appointed by the chief director to steer the affairs of the laboratory for now, whilst we wait for another meeting on Tuesday. So this morning he came around to brief us what management have said. We are working, and we are just waiting for the gentleman to provide or do the needful. So we are working whilst we are waiting for him. So we thank the chief director for his intervention. As law-abiding citizens, we are holding on to his commitments, even though we know so once upon a time some people violated it. But we are with him, we commensurate with him, and we are working as well. So we wait to see what will happen on Tuesday. So we are working. These are my colleagues busily working whilst I take the director around to introduce him to his new department.
Okay. So it means that for now all issues have been resolved or pending some other conversations?
So per the chief director's direction, he has appointed him to oversee that the place is running smoothly, and we have another engagement with him on Tuesday. So between now and Tuesday, the hierarchy of the laboratory is engaging to find amicable solution to the impasse.
Mi boremu ewa nsamfu fromani ekwakopiemu ewa agricultural college graduates awo muni adwuma ena etumi asole agina simpie ene bema so akasa ede egum fremam ede atro abansa oma aban na makomako edionu ba kon 21 days se graduate baburu 1000 and oda so etifia woni adwuma ewo mu se aban na se won bodada de nanso obo aban ni kokosa wa yanwosu ya and obey demonstration kese pa e de eti abanom na ebesi wo mo san na ubewie nto asosuku e to se wunya adwuma ye no na woda so etifie na afo hawo ani amane kese na wunamu eno na order na didi acho aban ne se won pe se obetina fie na hoode omo se mabu no mo de be ye adwuma no omo de omo nsa se omo da mirfam na afi abrabom nkireso ohani amane na ekoso eno nti wo sra Ghana ban se omo ma no na edionu ba kon sabano entu ho anamodia ene ya waya kire kase ombe no man nimu no enya abra abano betumi agina ano na yentie nsema agricultural college graduate for no etimi edituja.
Each year thousands of passionate, skilled and trained graduates in agronomy, veterinary science, agricultural economics, extension, horticulture, and related fields complete their studies, ready to contribute to the national development. Yet, a large number of us remain unemployed or underemployed, unable to apply the knowledge and skills acquired through years of training. Your Excellency, we firmly believe that the competence of agricultural graduates is critical to achieving the goals of initiatives such as Feed Ghana and the broader agricultural transformation agenda. With access to opportunities, we can drive innovation, improve yields, strengthen extension services, support agribusiness development, and mentor the next generation of farmers. We acknowledge the government's introduction of the Feed Ghana program, which sought to engage agricultural graduates through the National Service Scheme. While we initially welcomed this initiative in good faith, considering the country's financial constraints and the IMF arrangements, its implementation has been fraught with significant challenges. And those key challenges include: 1. Non-standard recruitment process. Graduates were posted without the issuance of official NSS PIN codes. 2. Administrative burden. Personnel are required to submit monthly reports physically to Accra, creating a logistical and financial strain. 3. Non-payment of allowances. Personnel have not received allowances after 3 months of service. 4. Limited coverage. Out of a targeted 10,000 graduates, fewer than 3,000 has been engaged. Placement challenges. Several MOFA offices have rejected posted personnel, citing lack of official communication. Delays and errors. Appointment letters for some of us remain delayed, with others containing inaccuracies. Additionally, the reliance on manual process instead of digital systems has increased inefficiencies and risks, particularly with nationwide monthly submissions. In light of these concerns, we respectfully call on His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Honorable Eric Opoku, and the Minister for Finance, Honorable Dr. Kessel Atto-Forson, to urgently grant immediate financial clearance to the recruitment of all qualified agricultural graduates, complete the deployment of the remaining 50% of previous promised officers, transition from temporary voluntary arrangements to permanent employment, address operational insufficiencies with the Feed Ghana program, ensure equity in
Mibo Aramu, our Western region, Eastern Nzima, Ninginano, Western region 24, and Efra Ghana, Abine, Yellow John Dramani Mahama, Saamfano, and Eastern Nzima, Hini, Akasa Numu, and Tem, or Sabano Anyan and Tama. Ebe to me the basabasa kasiapa to me the aba na sabasabasa enso ba ebe ka sumdue ni oman no ejapade enso enu nti osre Ghana mampani Jo Mahama se ontu anamon emfamfa ho entem na yentie ensem a omo etimi editu eja.
Mr. Berger Aka Flanton from Atwabo Royal Palace now. 2. Withdraw all police from the suspect now. 3. Reopen the assassination case immediately now. 4. Bring our Omani home from security self-exile now. The states, 119 people died in Boko before action. 70%, I repeat, 70% of Ghana's oil resources is in Eastern Nzima, traditional area. 0 prosecutions for the attack. The state freed the attackers and armed their leader. The state freed the attackers and armed their leader. Ghana cannot afford another Boko. The law is the law in Boko. and the law should be the law in Eastern Nzema traditional area. Final warning. The victim is in exile abroad. Fox falls out. The victim is in exile abroad. Fox falls out. The suspect is in the palace, guarded by the state.
Miboramu ewo nsamfu from ni akwakopiemu ewo chama wuntumi case no eno ena me no kasei asam ni bia etumi de chama wuntumi galam se case no akọ May 14th 2026 na asami afa galam se juma etumi ekoso ewo sama boy followers ni mu ayese chama wuntumi akoya galam se wabra woni wutumi na yebeka ya wabra ndc aban eba ye omatwe asemi srani abasa ye de to epuno ani bema so woni eka bi woni ese adansefo ese ye do omoba na no nanam so ama ene asemi bia efra asem no ni nyina ne se omutumi ntira asem no so ene na mom omasa so atu e de akwakose May 14 eno no omo ka so mo be he se mra ani niam etwa so mo nsaka no etumi aboa Emma pepepe ye etumi akoso na yentie ensema chama wuntumi lawyer etumi edituja.
Case management. We have finished it. Except that we had few more witnesses to file their witness statements, which we have told the court. So we have filed a witness statement for Chama Wuntumi and Peter Mining. I filed one for Engineer Gumashi. We have a few more to do and probably add to it or improve our case. So when we file the others, they will also notify you the system. So far we have 3 witness statements ready to be filed, and we intend to file them by tomorrow or Monday when witnesses come to sign the witness statements. So the matter has been attended to 14 to operate continuation of this matter. Only to give you the other patient that
Legina we so na madame wutew simanja tebeye aduosia na metimi akwaje aboafo nka to me ba me de ebebawremu ewa amonone ensemu.
Let me be. Radin Shida, where Yesu Christo demo. Wakwa po kofi odro ena meka say fremo sofu gidigidiwati. Tie radia bie kwan de ato ho se efira nopa. Hana eba ompa e na raditi. Lord Samuel ebai. Tie radia maya kwanya se fie da bia ye ntwe na nim ne ompa e. Empa ye gidi. Enemy shout Taifa Johnson. Refiner Chapel International Auditorium. Taifa Johnson. So do Taifa Johnson. Baby, a ton spare personal. Messi baby, a ton spare person ankasa. For spare pass for an anymore. Net 2 million FF is sunny. Bones am a somebody is your Refiner Chapel International. Name is Chef Yerabia 7:30. Messi a fear no pa. 7:30. Ever then found our yesterday. Amen.
Refiner's fire.
To me, Ediaremu, our Amanfonum, Ecosunia, Ecosu, our South Africa, Basabasaya, to me, sorry, at the far Antilliga immigration, our Yatra, Ecosu, our Durban, our South Africa moon, ɛno na wɔn a ɛyɛ yɛkyerɛ ne sɛ wɔpam immigrant a wɔnni ho kwan sɛ wɔtumi ɛbɛyɛ adwuma wɔ hɔ sɛ wɔ kratasɛm o ne kratasɛm o woyɛ Nigeria ni ana wofiri ɔman Ghana wofiri Cote d'Ivoire, Mali, Burkina Faso, Tanzania, Malawi, Mozambique, Koukurom, Katrawabani sɛ ɔnsiesie hɔ ye ɔmpɛ adwuma ɛma wo nyɛ na tena hɔ ɛma South Africa ha ɛmɛ yitire ɛmɛ bubu mawrɛ ɛma South Africa ha ɛmɛ gye stores ahodoɔ ɛmɛ bi adwuma bi a wɔ South Africa ɔmo mpɛ ne saa ɔmo pɛ sɛ ɔmo South Africa foɔ no nko a ɛna etumi ɛtena hɔ ɛno na ɛnam soɔ so ɔmo bɛyɛ yɛkyerɛ yɛ akɔpem ɛbrɛ a wɔn a ɛni nkrataa a wɔne wutumi wɔn a wɔn nkrataa a wɔfrɛ bibima mu nyina da ɛbɛfiri South Africa na yɛntie nsɛm ahodoɔ no ma ɛnɛ ɔmatumi ɛde ato dwa ɛfa ɔyɛkyerɛ a ɔmo ɛyɛ no ɛho.
We are saying that we are tired. If our government want to kill us, they must kill us. And we are doing it peacefully, and we are doing it aligned with the rule of law. And someone was accusing us about running the horse in the city of Durban, saying that since he was born, he never seen what is happening. They say, where is the law that says it's not allowed? There's no law that says that. We are genius people. We may look down, we are genius people. We know exactly what is happening, and we know our constitution, and we know our regulations. That's why we are here. Police are respecting us, and everyone is respecting us. Thank you to Babu Mkwanazi for making sure that all the drug cartels in South Africa, now their time is over. And thank you for whomever that you have appointed General Mkwanazi to say to make sure that a deal with the organized crime in this country. Now it's time, all the youth of South Africa and everyone, whomever you are there, every corners of the world, can you all stand up and make sure that we reparate our own country peacefully and making sure that we are following the rule of law, because when we are arrested, our country is going to be destroyed even more. Whomever that can come to this country with the aim of destroying it, because it's the last hope of Africa. The last hope of Africa, South Africa, can be destroyed by illegal immigrants allowed by all these stupid politicians that are taking money from illegal routing, Julius Malema and all of other politicians. Their time is over. Thank you.
We'll keep on marching until we win. That was the whole idea. Like from the onset, the first march, we did say it's not the last one. We'll continue to march until our government listens to what we have to say. And as expected, we did know that the next best thing that people will do is to spread this xenophobic notion. So that's the news going around the world now, that we're xenophobic. And of course, typical of our government, they are panicking because they know that their business interests are being shaken. Unfortunately, when push comes to shove, the country is about its people. It's not about their businesses. And we're not going to negotiate our safety in our country anymore with politicians who know that they live in high walls and they've got their children not affected by any of what's happening today and what's happening in our communities.
Mamin tabli Ghana for free South Africa, Neye mepiemu ewa Nigeria, Ninginano eye Nigeria Senator Oshimola, ena etumi edi abufu edipa. Ewa xenophobic attacks ekoso ewa South Africa nimu. Na nyina ne say yetimi ekum Nigeria fo be ya abenua efa eye ntonse so ahodo no ma ekoso ewa South Africa eno na nam so ma panini so li gina ye na okasa de kire se eni kwa se Africa eye hu etumi di ma ye ne ankasa bibifo ene Ghana na ye hu Nigeria ni ntumi ma ha Nigeria na ye hu Ghana ni ntumi ma ha se ne ekoso South African eni kwa se ekoso sa na South Africa for so mun pe obi ade a ene omu ni problem. Na mom nka ho so munwuma hodo no ma ewo ho no omba be yedi afri ho ebiti say MTN everywhere you go, and everywhere you go no ebeka South Africa nko a enye bra betumi aba eye Nigeria ento omo se omo nja mo ne maboni omo ye na ne pintin kwa ne bufuso a omo tew e omo ankasa yenko bibifo so dia ene tinton time MTN di no kai omo betam DSTV omo betam Absabange omo ye fro nyuma bia do omo ye no ho no enya bamba ma kwa ma South Africa for etumi ayebiem na yentie ensem a Nigeria Senator Oshiomole etumi editu eja.
My response: these Nigerians who are in South Africa, they are not there on holiday. They are there to work and to earn. And which kind of job they are doing? There are two categories. Many are traders, others are doing maybe some high-skilled jobs. So my view is that it is time to reciprocate. This Senate should adopt a position that MTN, a South African company that is cutting away millions of dollars from Nigeria every day, that Nigeria nationalized.
Aha, and a brother mammy quine, not don't hear back and some me to me at the ever some war off, Cassam for news, some for an aquasiamo far. Met to me at the Abano every year, now to me abwao. And some year Toguye, our Befontin Tamfide, Facebook, off TV, YouTube, and so off TV, Sanso and a TikTok, off TV. Now call a Google Play Store. Ya app no boyi e da ho download ba mobile phone so and we be abeko bia da odon sabo so say internet no o udamai wona wo hye no film bia da ne ma bia koso no obetumi ahwe en check us en command production team Mr. One Brown nyam insure Teddy nyam insure Lawrence afi nana ekua mansa wona odi me wura mfremam nyankopo anyo kase no wonton super entumi emfango so Afi Oba Dede, you are watching me live. Dede, Nyamin Shroud, Nyami Enya Casino, Ton Super and Fangu so. When you free a Dumu now one say Udino, any Monyam. Afi Missa Yesta, one son watcher, I'm watching live Nana. I want to Nyami and Shroud, now on your Cassia. Afi Oba Betty, one so what a chiman. One so me who won some ewa ahase no more. Now more connect me to my good lovers group in Amichada Sanibiada. Nyamipa, no more che. Yeah, did the church, Ebebero. Midiani and Nakwesiamofa, the Magana Funina, when you share.